Good morning, children.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, very good morning. All of you, please switch on your videos.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm not feeling well, ma'am.
Okay, then no problem. Okay, children. So, in the last class, we were discussing about some terms associated with the rectilinear motion of an object. So, we can make a quick revision of that topics. After that, we can move to the next topic. All of you, please close your books. Close your books. Adilya just opened the book during that time. Okay. So we can make a short rapid fire session. So starting with Ardra. Ardra, what do you mean by rectilinear motion? Q. Analyst Sibi, rectilinear. All of you please switch on your videos. Analyst, what do you mean by rectilinear motion?
Motion of objects along a straight line.
Very good. Motion of an object along a straight line is called rectilinear motion. Then Malavika Prabil, can you say one example for the rectilinear motion of an object? Okay, motion of car along a straight road. Okay, good. Rose. What are the terms associated before that? What do you mean by kinematics? Rose. What do you mean by kinematics? Yes, I think your audio is not connected. I can't hear anything. Okay, Rose. Sorry, the same question to Devi Krishna. All of you please switch on your videos. Devi Krishna, what do you mean by kinematics? It is a branch of physics that deals with the motion of object, and we are not considering the factors that causing the motion. That is what is known as kinematics. Then the next question to Alentina. What are the terms associated with the rectilinear motion of an object? The two terms associated with rectilinear motion. Yes.
Distance and displacement.
Very good. It is distance and displacement. And can you define what you mean by distance, Alentina? Distance.
Total distance covered by an object.
Distance means total distance covered by the object.
Total length covered by an object.
Total path length covered by the object. Okay, good. Then the next question to Jodi. What is the SI unit of distance?
Meter.
Okay, meter. Good. The next question to Renil. What is the dimension for distance? Dimension for distance. Rose, can you hear me now? What is the dimension for distance? But we can hear you. I think your audio is, some problems are there. Eva, dimension for distance.
Ma'am, it's L.
Dimension of distance is L. Okay, all right. Then the next question to Anne Mary. What is displacement?
The shortest distance between initial and final point.
The shortest distance between initial point and a final point. Okay, very good. Then Shreya, what is the unit of displacement? Shreya. Okay, I think some kind of audio problems are there. Alan Joffe. SI unit of displacement. Same question to Sanjana, SI unit of displacement. Unmute and say. Anashwara Johnson, SI unit of displacement.
Meter.
It is meter. Okay, then next question to who is here? Align. What is the dimension of displacement?
Length L.
It is L. Okay, all right. Then John Philip, can you identify the displacement is comes under which type of physical quantity?
Vector.
It is a vector quantity because it has both magnitude and direction. Then Adulya, what about the distance? Is it is a scalar or vector?
Scalar.
It is a scalar quantity. Okay. And what are the values that can be accompanied by the distance? What are the values that can have taken by the term distance? Question is to Lakshmi. What can be the values for a distance?
It will be positive or 0.
It will be only 0 or positive. Then the question is to Sahan. What about the case of displacement? The values of distance can be either positive or 0. Then what about the case of displacement? The same question to Samia. Abhinav, same question. The distance can be either positive or 0. Then what about the values that can be taken by the term displacement? Tominston,
Displacement can be positive, negative, or 0.
very good. The displacement can be either positive, negative, or 0. Okay. So these topics that we were covered in our last class, that is about the motion. There are different types of motions are there. And one more topic is there. What is one-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion, and a three-dimensional motion. But in this chapter, we are discussing only about the one-dimensional motion. Then Tushar, how many axes are needed to describe the one-dimensional motion of an object?
Only one.
Only one axis. It can be either X, Y, or Z axis. Then the next question to Alan Joshi, how many axes are required to describe the two-dimensional motion of an object?
Ma'am, 2 axes.
It is 2. And what do you mean by two-dimensional motion? The same to Alan Joshi. What do you mean by two-dimensional motion?
Ma'am, if a particle is moving along plane, then
Very
it's
good.
said to be two-dimensional motion.
Very good. If the particle is moving along a plane surface, then we can call it as a two-dimensional motion. And in such cases, we need any two axes to describe the location of an or the motion of an object. Then the next question to Roshan, what do you mean by three-dimensional motion? Roshan Rashid. The same question to Vinayak. What do you mean by three-dimensional motion?
Three-dimensional motions are that occur in 3 dimensions.
Is it is always occurs in 3 dimension? That is, the motion occurs in the space, but we cannot say all the 3-dimensional motions or all the spatial motions are 3-dimensional in nature. Then, so that is what is we are discussing in our last class. That is, motion are of 3 types based on the dimension. We can classify the motion into 3 types. That is, motion in 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and 3 dimension. Okay, if the motion in 1 dimension, that is motion along a straight line or a rectilinear path are called motion in 1 dimension. The movement of any object along a straight road can be accounted as an example for the 1-dimensional motion. Then the motion in a plane surface, they are known as motion in 2 dimension. And then if the motion of an object in space, we can consider it as a 3 dimension because we need 3 axes to describe the location or position of an object. But in 3-dimensional case, there is an exception will be there. That is, if the motion of the object takes place in a selected path, then we can account that motion of the object undergo the 2-dimensional motion. Okay. Then in the last class, we were discussing about the 2 terms associated with the distance and displacement. Okay, associated with the rectilinear motion, that is distance and displacement. The term distance means the total path covered by the object. The total path length covered by the object is known as distance. Okay, the total path length covered by the object is known as distance, and the displacement means the shortest distance between initial point and the final point. And we discussed that the distance can take either positive or zero values, but in the case of displacement, it can take positive, negative, or zero values. So today I am going to give some examples or situations in which the displacement can take the zero, positive, and the negative values. Okay. So students, suppose you imagine that here we have house. And here the school. Okay, so the morning the student is started his journey to the school. It is 15 kilometer away from his home. The school is 15 kilometer away from his home. Again in the evening, he returned through the same path. So he covers the same distance, 15 kilometer. Okay. So what is the distance covered by the object? The distance covered by the student here?
30 kilometers.
It is 30 kilometer because distance is the total path covered by the object. The total path covered by the object. So in the morning, he travels from the initial point is house, and the final point is also here the house. Because here starting his journey from house and reaches in the school, then in the evening again he started his journey from the school and again reaches in the house. So the total path length when he moving from house to school or from back from school to home, he covers the same distance, 15 kilometer plus 15 kilometer. So the total path covered by the object is 30 kilometer. So my next question, what about the displacement?
0.
It is 0. That is from house to school or home to school, it is 15 minus, it is the shortest distance between initial point and the final point. Here the final point is from school to home and the initial point is from home to school, again 15. So 15 minus 15 is equal to 0. That is, if the initial point and final point will be the same, then in such cases, the displacement of the object can be equal to 0. Suppose if in another case you imagine that if an object is traveling along a circular path, he start his journey from this point A, he traveling through this circular path, again he reaches here. So here the initial point and final point will be the same. So in such cases also the displacement can be equal to 0. Displacement is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the case we can discuss that displacement of an object is equal to 0. That is, if the initial point and the final point of the object is same, then in such cases the displacement will be equal to 0. Now we can discuss the cases in which the displacement can be negative. For that, here we are consider a tall building. Okay, this is our tall building with the height h. Now a person standing on the top of the building. Okay, so here we are considering a tall building with a height h. A person standing on the top of the building. Then he throws some stone or ball, something like that, to upward direction. Okay, then he throw a stone to upward direction to a particular height of h, small letter h. Consider a tall building. A person is standing on the top of the building and he throws some stone to upward direction. So that stone reaches to a particular height of h. After reaching a particular height, it is again returns to the ground. Okay, after reaching to a particular height, what happens to the stone? It is returns to the ground. So what will be the displacement in this case? What will be the displacement in this case? That is what is my question. Here a tall building with a height h. A person is standing on the top of the building, then throw a stone or ball, something like that, to the upward direction. It is traveling to a particular height of h. After that, it is returning to the ground. Then what about the displacement of this case?
Negative.
Height of
Yes, it is negative what? What will be the negative value? So here, from here to here, the height of the stone or the height is h. Again, whenever the stone is returns, up to here we know that the height is h. Since it is returned, we need to take it as negative h, h minus h. Then again from here to here, that is the final point minus initial point. That is the initial height is minus h. The final height is plus h minus h. Why we are taken it as minus h? Because here the stone is returns after reaching a particular height. That stone is returns here. That is why we taken it as negative h. So the final height is h minus h minus the initial height. That is the height of the building. That is capital H. So here h minus h cancels. Then what is left? Minus h. That is the height of the building. Okay, so here we get a negative value. So this is the negative displacement. So the displacement can be either positive, negative or 0. Is it clear? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is in some situations or examples from our daily life in which the displacement can be positive, negative or 0. Just explain that fact, that's all. So now we are going to discuss the next term associated with the rectilinear motion of an object. So before that, I will give you a situation. Suppose you imagine a bicycle and a car. A bicycle and a car. Which one travels fast?
Car.
Car. Obviously, the car travels fast as compared to that of the bicycle. And how you measure the fastness of the car, or how you can say that the car travels faster than that of the bicycle? How you can identify that is the car is faster than that of the bicycle? Or how you can say, on what basis you say that the car travels? Normally it actually happens in our life. Car is faster than that of the cycle. But what's the reason? Or why you can say that car travels faster than that of the bicycle?
distance covered per meter.
Yes, we are measuring the distance covered, both of them. The distance covered in a given interval of time. What will be the distance covered by the cycle or motorcycle or bicycle, and that of the distance covered by the car? Okay, so for a given interval of time, what will be the distance covered by the bicycle and that of the distance covered by the car? Then we can calculate or we can identify which object travels fast. Okay, so that physical quantity, the physical quantity which is measuring the rate of motion of an object is known as speed. So today we are going to discuss the next term associated with the rectilinear motion of an object. That is what is known as speed. So the next physical quantity associated with the rectilinear motion. That is the motion along a straight line. The first two terms is distance and displacement. The next term is speed. That is the distance traveled by a body per unit time is called speed of a body. The distance traveled by a body per unit time is called speed of a body. Mathematically, we can calculate speed using the equation. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. You don't need to copy down the derivations, the definitions here now. Only copy down the definition for speed and its mathematical equation. Speed is the distance traveled by a body per unit time is called speed of a body. And mathematically we can calculate speed is equal to distance divided by time. Okay. So the speed of a body can be calculated by speed is equal to distance divided by time. And there are some letters are there to represent this speed. That is nu. It is not v, it is nu. It's a Greek symbol pronunciated as nu. The speed nu is equal to distance covered by the object. The distance is represented by s divided by time. Time is represented by t. So nu is equal to s by t. This is the mathematical equation for calculating the speed of an object. Nu is equal to s by t, where nu is the speed, s is the distance, and t is the time taken by the object. So by considering the distance covered by the object in a given interval of time, we can measure the rate of motion of an object, and we can identify which object is travels fast and which one is travels least. Okay. Now we can derive the unit of this speed. What is the unit of distance? SI unit of distance?
Meter.
Meter. Dia, what is the SI unit of time?
Second.
Second. Good. Then what about the unit of speed? The SI unit of speed? It is meter per second. The SI unit of distance is meter. SI unit of time is second. So we can write the SI unit of speed is meter per second. Now again, what about the dimension? When you are writing a physical quantity, try to account all these terms. What about its unit and the dimension of speed and all? What is the dimension of distance? Rose? Okay, it is L. From your lip movement, I can understand. It is L. John Joes, what about the dimension of time?
T.
T. Or what about the dimension of speed then? L. T raised to minus 1. The dimension of speed is L T raised to minus 1. So speed is the distance covered by the object in a unit time, or we can write speed is equal to distance by time, and its SI unit is meter per second. Dimension is LT raised to minus 1. Now one more term we want to write here. Identify the type of physical quantity. The speed comes under what type of physical quantity? We know that speed is equal to distance by time. Distance is a scalar quantity. What about the time? Time is scalar or vector? Tushar? Time is a?
Vector.
Can you represent the time in terms of its direction, Tushar?
No. It's a scalar.
It is a scalar. So distance is scalar. Here the time is also scalar. So we can write our speed, the physical quantity, speed is a scalar quantity. Speed is a scalar quantity. So here we are defined the speed, write the mathematical expression for speed and equation for calculating the speed. Mathematical equation for calculating speed is nu is equal to S by T. You have a tendency to write D instead of writing S, but here the S representing the distance. The letter S representing the distance and T representing the time, and the letter nu represent the speed. SI unit is meter per second. Its dimension is LT raised to -1 and it is a scalar quantity. Is it clear? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are going to discuss the different types of speed. Different types of speed. Write the next subheading. Different types of speed. We have different types of speeds are there. The first one is uniform speed. Second one, non-uniform speed. Third one, average speed. The last one, instantaneous speed. Here we have 4 different types of speed: uniform speed, non-uniform speed, average speed, and the last one, instantaneous speed. So let us discuss all these different types of speed one by one. Okay. Here you have 2 tables. Focus only the first one. In these 2 tables, in the 2 columns, you have the distance covered by the object is given in a given interval of time. Okay. So identify the distance covered by the object in 4 seconds. What about the distance covered by the object? First table. The distance covered by the object in 4 seconds.
10 meters.
It is 10 meter. Distance covered by 2 seconds.
5.
Yes. What about 6 seconds? 15. And in 8 seconds? 20. And what is the difference between the distance covered by the object? What is the difference? It is 5 meter. It is equal because it is covers equal distance. And what about the difference in their time? Time taken to cover this distance? It is 2. So can you form a definition for uniform motion of an object? Or the uniform speed? If the object covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, we can say it is in uniform motion. So this is the definition for uniform motion. So this is the table that representing the uniform motion of an object. The object covers equal distance, that is the difference between the distance covered by the object is 5 meter, and it is covers this distance in equal intervals of time, that is in 2 seconds. So that is the definition for the uniform speed. A particle or a body is said to be moving with a uniform speed if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. If an object covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, then we can call it as uniform speed. If the object covers or the body or a particle covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, we can call it as uniform speed. Is it over?
No, ma'am.
If a particle or a body is said to be moving with a uniform speed, if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. That is, if you are traveling through a smooth road, sometimes we may be undergo this uniform speed normally. That is, if you are covers this 2 seconds or 5 meters in 2 seconds, next 10 meters in 4 seconds. So we can call it as a uniform speed. We covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. Now, in the second table, what about the distance covered in 2 seconds? Distance covered by the object in 2 seconds.
5 meter.
It is 5 meter. What about the distance covered by 4 seconds? 17 meter. Distance covered by 8 seconds?
28.
28. Distance covered in 8 seconds is 28. Now we can find the difference between their distance. What about the difference between their distance? Is it same? What is the difference between 5 and 17? Difference in the distance between 5 and 17?
12.
It is 12. 12 meter. What about 17 and 23? What is the difference in distance between 17 and 23?
16.
16.
6.
Is it 6 or 16?
6.
6 meter. Okay, then what do you think the difference between the distance is same? Does the difference between the distance is same or not?
No.
It is not the same. Now we can check the case of time. What is the difference between the time that is taken by the object to cover this distance?
2.
It is 2. Here the time is same, but the distance covered by the object is not same. So can you form a definition for non-uniform speed of an object? Try to guess a definition for non-uniform speed of an object.
Equal distance in equal interval of time.
Yes, if the object covers unequal distance, if it is covers unequal distance, because here the difference between the distance is not the same. So if the object covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time, then we can say that the object is undergoes a non-uniform speed. So here you have the definition for non-uniform speed. Instead of this variable speed, you can write non-uniform speed, non-uniform. A particle or a body is said to be moving with non-uniform speed or variable speed if it covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. Unequal distance in equal interval of time. This is the second type of speed. The first one is uniform speed and the second one non-uniform speed. If a particle or a body is said to be moving with non-uniform speed, if it covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. From your daily life, can you say an example for the non-uniform speed of an object? Try to find out an example for non-uniform speed of an object. Emmeline, can you give me one example for non-uniform speed of an object? That is, if the object is covers unequal.
Traveling in a busy street.
Yes, very good, very good. If the car is traveling in a busy or a heavy traffic road, we can say it is in a non-uniform motion. In that case, the car covers unequal distance in equal intervals. Yes? Okay, it's right. So if the car is travels in a heavy traffic, we can say it is undergoes a non-uniform speed. That is, during that time, it covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
So here we're discussing about the next term associated with the rectilinear motion of an object, that is speed. So speed means it is a physical quantity that measuring the rate of motion of an object. So by calculating the speed, we can identify whether the object travels fast or least and all. So how we can find out the speed? The speed is the distance traveled or covered by the object in a given interval of time, or mathematically the speed is equal to distance divided by time. And what is the equation for calculating the speed? Pooja, equation for calculating the speed?
Distance by time.
Mathematical representation?
Nu is equal to S by T.
Nu is equal to S by T. Then Meherin, can you differentiate each term present in this equation?
Yes, sir. Nu means it is a speed, S is distance, and T
And
is the
T?
time taken.
T is the time taken. And what about the dimension for speed? Merin, dimension for speed?
LT raised to -1.
LT raised to -1. Then Renil, what are the different types of speed that we are discussing here? Renil, Fahis, Faisal, all of you please switch on your videos. Fahis, what are the two different types of speed?
Ma'am, did you call me before?
Oh yes.
What was the question, ma'am?
What are the different types of speed?
Uniform and non-uniform?
Uniform speed and non-uniform speed. Okay, then next one, Navaneet, define uniform speed.
A particular body moving, a particular body is said to be moving with uniform speed if it covers equal distances in equal time.
If it is covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, we can say it as uniform speed. Then Jewel, non-uniform speed.
Unequal distance in equal intervals of time.
Okay, if the object covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, then we can say the object undergoes a non-uniform speed. Now we are going to discuss the third type of speed, that is average speed. The third type of speed is average speed. Okay, suppose you imagine if an object is starting from a point A and it is traveling through a distance, and if it is reaches at the point B, so it is traveling to B at a distance of S1, and the time taken for traveling the distance S1 is T1. Again, it is travels from B to another point C. So here the object starts from point A, then it covers a distance of S1 in time T1, then reaches at the point B. Again, it reaches at another point C by covering a distance of S2 in time T2. So what about the speed of an object? So in such cases, if the object covers a large distances in different distance or in different times, we cannot consider the simple speed of the object. In such cases, we are account the average speed of the object. And the average speed of the object can be calculated by total distance traveled by the object divided by total time taken to cover that distance. So average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. If the object covers different distances and in different times are taken for to cover that distance, in such cases we need to calculate the average speed of the object, and the average speed of the object is given by total distance divided by total time. What is the letter to represent the speed of an object? Which letter is used to represent the speed? Unmute. Oh, yes, it is nu. And here it is average speed. So you can write nu average. Nu average is equal to, what is the total distance covered by the object here? From A to B, the distance covered by the object is S1. And from B to C, the distance covered by the object is S2. So what is the total distance covered by the object? Unmute and say. It is right.
S1 plus S2.
Yes, it is S1 plus S2. Divided by, what is the total time taken to cover this distance?
T1 plus T2.
T1 plus T2. So the average speed of the object is given by nu average is equal to S1 plus S2 divided by T1 plus T2. So this is the equation for calculating the average speed of the object. The average speed of the object is given by total distance divided by total time taken. So nu average is equal to S1 plus S2 divided by T1 plus T2. So average speed is the ratio of the total distance of the traveled by the object divided by total time taken to cover that distance. Average speed nu average is equal to S1 plus S2 divided by T1 plus T2. Okay, then Sanjana, what is the equation for calculating the average speed? Okay, Agna, equation for calculating the average speed?
S1 plus S2 divided by T1 by T2.
And what is this S1 by S2? S1 plus S2 represents?
Total distance by total time.
Total distance divided by, and T1 and T2 is the total time taken by the object to cover that distance. Okay, and some cases are there under this average speed. We can discuss it in our next class. Okay, children, so with this we can wind up today's session. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.